es la voz de LA. It's like una galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and Will Kuntz we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell the haters shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goles during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans and all you international soccer fans as well. You have a home here, and welcome. Today, the LA Galaxy took on Las Águilas at Club América and lived to tell the tale after walking away with a respectable 2-2 draw on Saturday, November 15th at the Digs this past weekend. Despite it being a majority Club America crowd, Greg Vanney's team fought back twice to earn the tie. We'll break down this glamour exhibition against one of Mexico's powerhouse teams and look at if a tie was a fair result, who impressed him from the Galaxy side, and how much of a moral victory is it for the Galaxy, or how much exactly it counts for. Plus, is there about to be more business done between these two teams? All of that and more coming up on tonight's episode. But before we go any further, let me introduce myself. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Halon. You can find my written work at the Sporting Tribune and online at El Escudero de LA. And of course, my co-host with the most, El Yerno Guapo, Gitano Perdido, and the boots on the ground this past weekend there at the Digs, Ananda Kirana. Papa, you were there in an aguacero, just a deluge of water, man. What was going down? How did you find the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a rainy affair for sure. I was saying to like a couple of the guys in the press box, like, this is fun actually for me. Like, I like playing in the rain. Like, I'm sure the guys are probably having some fun out there because it's like I remember playing rainy days when I was a kid. Super fun. Like, the ball just kind of slipped and slide everywhere. But you know, you get to slide tackle around, throw your body around a little bit. So, but hey, man, I honestly, it was pouring down pretty hard. So props to the ground staff and the operations crew for, you know, making sure that pitch was playable and it looked like the water drained like very well. So again, there was a lot of rain. It was kind of on and off. Like 1 minute you'll look up and there's a lot of rain coming down, and the next minute there wasn't. So, but yeah, interesting game. I mean, we'll talk about it. Definitely felt like a road game, and we'll talk about that a little bit as well. The atmosphere was very interesting, but yeah, decent turnout, actually, more than I initially expected, to be honest with you.
Well, it's you know how we do here. What's the one word, Papa? Let me know the one word. Ay.
One word. Positive.
That's not bad. Okay. I would go a different way, actually. So explain yourself.
I think this is we might talk about this conversation a bit later, but it was a positive way to end the season. I thought it was an overall positive performance, and if this is the basis that you're going to go off of for next season, this is a good platform to build off of for a team that, to me, obviously is in the off season. There were some patterns of play and some little interesting things that I saw during that game that made me think, okay, systematically this team looks good. Now, I don't know if that was in the context of an off-season game or a friendly or what have you, but the signs are positive for me, and I think you've got to carry that positive momentum, anything that you can, friendly game or not, into the following season. So I saw some positive things in that game.
Okay. Man, maybe I was just in another frame of mind, but I was all negative Nancy on it. And I thought like more of the same. So I didn't have like a one word, but I had a one phrase, and I thought more of the same because the goals that the Galaxy gave up were very typical LA Galaxy, circa 2023 to 2025 or 2022 to 2025. Right? They're just just giving the ball away in bad areas, shooting yourself in the foot, and then second goal is multiple set pieces that the Galaxy don't clear, and then they get punished for. So my one word was, or one phrase was, more the usual. And so I was just looking at it, I guess, through different lenses. Yes, Club América is one of the best teams in CONCACAF, but the Galaxy are the Galaxy, and they should be going toe to toe with teams like this. And they did get the draw, but they should have got a little bit more, I think. But anyway, we'll get into the game proper. I did not have the benefit of watching the game in real time, right? So I watched it after I already knew the scoreline, so maybe that also influenced my decision. But anyway, Ananda, we got to do this little housekeeping, and then we got to do these announcements, and then we'll get into this game, man. If you are one of the almost 700 plus subscribers to subscribe to this humble little podcast, we do thank you. We do want to say we appreciate it. We love you for it. Ananda is going to take a shot with you at some point, and that's a promise from this pod to you guys.
Hear that peer pressure, guys? It's on every show, but hey, there you go, just for you guys to enjoy.
And then if you want to get something off your chest, if you got something to say, if you have a burning question for myself or Ananda, go ahead and hit up those super chats. You know how to do it. And then, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Even if you're watching on X or Instagram, we do appreciate you jumping on over. That would be love. Ananda, do what you do, man. And then we will hit up the shout outs.
Yeah, like Rob said, we're on the road to 800. So guys, hopefully on the march there, and if you are the 1/3 that do not sub to the show and you do enjoy it, go ahead and consider hitting that subscribe and hit those notification bells so that you guys know that when we're on. We did have an emergency stream last time. We weren't supposed to be on last Thursday, and then a bomba dropped with MLS calendar change. So that was a great episode with MLS Move. So I thought, really, really good conversation. I think you guys should definitely check that out in the back catalog. And then what else? So if you are opening the door and coming into the living room of La Cuna Galaxiana, go ahead and hit those likes, guys. Don't forget, hit those likes on your way in, hit those likes on your way out. Just like Big Scott Wilmot says, hit the like button, y'all cuneros. Rob talked about the super. So I guess, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches. Y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana. Let's go, man. Let's hit it. Another game. Didn't count for anything. There was no points, no jeopardy, but like I said, a pretty interesting watch from my vantage point.
Look, I once met a wise man named Metalhead96, and he popped into chat and he said, y'all deserve more subscribers. And I support that sentiment, and I want to say thank you for your sentiment. That's, like I said, very wise man.
Too kind, man.
Thank you. Well, the next Blue, White, and Gold pop-up is happening. It's at Common Space Brewery in Los Angeles on Sunday, December 14th from 12 p.m. To 5 p.m. It's always a great time there. I always spend way too much money. I always get in way too much trouble, and I always have way too much fun. So with all that being said, go ahead and go and support your favorite independent Galaxy creators. Is, as you can see in the photo here, we have Marisa Cuevas. Ananda and I ourselves have, met Marisa Cuevas and Tucker Lepoli and Edwin Cedillo and Jay Lanio out there, and gotten to say hello. And then you can have some bomb food and have a great time with your fellow G's. So why not do it? In fact, you guys promised me that you will. Guys, we have been bringing you the progress of the U.S. men's youth national team. The U17s were at the World Cup. They were balling. However, it seems they have suffered the same fate as their U20 brothers who lost to Morocco in penalties. This time, the U17s lost to Morocco in penalties 4-3. However, they started brightly in this game. They took the lead through Jude Terry in the 21st minute. They had a chance to make it 2-0 Nanda with a penalty in the 55th with none other than Mathis Albert, the former LA Galaxy starlet, who skies it wide right, has a chance to make it 2-0 and put the USA up. Instead, it's 1-0, and Abdullah Ouzine ties it in the 90th minute, and Morocco hangs on then to win in penalties and eliminate the U.S. men's youth national team. Bummer, Ananda. I saw some of this match. It was fun, man. I mean, there's a reason I feel like Morocco is one of the dark horses in the World Cup, and they've done well recently at international tournaments. I mean, they have a fantastic youth system, man. I mean, the U20s were great, the U17s were good. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they continue to be one of the powers on the African continent, man. But anyway, the U.S. men's U17s eliminated. Thank you for the tournament. The U.S. men's national team, the senior national team, however, beat Paraguay 2-1 on November 15th. Gio Reyna marked his his return to the team with the goal. And then Alex Arce tied it in the 10th minute with Miggy Almiron assist, the one from Atlanta. And then Flo Balogun, he makes it 2-1 in the 71st minute. Ex-Arsenal star, Ananda, you know him. That turned out to be the game winner. Now the U.S. plays Uruguay tomorrow on November 18th, depending on when you're listening to this pod. But yeah, that's tomorrow, our time, November 18th. That'll be taking off at 4 p.m. Pacific in Tampa, Florida. That is the last match of 2025. And then, obviously, next year, every last game counts as the U.S. goes one step closer to hosting this World Cup here on U.S. soil and kicking off in Los Angeles. Ananda, can you imagine, man? We are just 7 months away, 8 months away.
That's wild.
It's crazy, man. A bit of news before we get into all the games and all that lot. The Galaxy signed some youth players for the Club América game. Gabriel Arnold, Pepe Magana, and Tommy Musto were signed to a short-term agreement from VCFC, and I thought they looked pretty decent. And when I saw the rematch or replay, Ananda, especially I've been kind of digging on that Pepe Magana already. Shows a lot of promise. I think maybe will be the next Omar Gonzalez. Who knows?
Yeah, we actually got to talk to him, Rob, post match in the mix.
Oh, dime, chisme.
And just really, we didn't expect him. We got Greg, of course, Mauricio Cuevas, and who was the other? Oh, Christian Ramirez. And then all of a sudden, the comms team went up to us and oh, by the way, this is Pepe Magana. And so we had him for a few minutes. So really, he seems really composed, man. Really mature for his age. He talked to us about just his experience with the first team, obviously in this game. He talked about sort of where he is right now in his development with VCFC. I mean, those kids don't get an off season, man. They don't get to go, hang out with their families, or I mean, they're busy. They're working. They are training. He's going to be busy all summer with VCFC and continuing to develop his game. So it was really nice to talk to him. I actually got to ask him a really quick question about seeing Ricky in practice. And he's like, it's just a treat, man, having to train with Ricky and Marco. So I will been a little late on posting those interviews. I will post them up hopefully first thing tomorrow morning here. For as much as I got, I'm gonna try to, because it's, you know how the tunnel is, Papa. Like there's a lot of background noise.
Yeah,
I just had my
absolutely.
phone. I just had my phone on me, so hopefully the
Mix
audio is
zone.
good. Yeah, hopefully the audio is good. Shout out Josh. Hopefully the audio is good. But yeah, so that was
Oh,
that
did
was
you guys do that? Did you guys do mix zone?
I did. There was another more NC-17 rated version that I might share with you offline, but that was kind of funny.
All right,
So
cool. I'm about it.
yeah. So yeah, no, it was very cool getting to speak to Pepe Magana. Hopefully we get to see a lot more of him. Hopefully he breaks through, man.
Yeah, like I said, I like him a lot. I've had the chance to, see some of these streams for VCSC and see him a little bit, and yeah, I like him. I like his game, man. But anyway, good luck to those guys as they continue developing and continue getting called up. Hopefully to that first team. Went on to this one. It was one that I actually caught just today. I'm not sure where your temperature gauge is on, might be on this one, but I thought I'd bring it up because he was MLS Cup MVP. Senor Gaston Brugman is un agente libre. He's a free agent. So, what do you think, man? Bring him back home. What if the price is right?
Yeah, well, let's read the tweet here that's on the screen. It says, muchas gracias Nashville, otro año con el título y haciendo historia en el club. Ahora recuperar mentalmente y físicamente para afrontar otro año más de la mejor manera. Soy agente libre, that means I'm a free agent, así que evaluaré la mejor opción para mi futuro. Vamos por el 2026. The key part of that, obviously, if you guys don't speak Spanish, is I'm a free agent. I'm agente libre.
This man is basically issuing a "come get me, please," someone.
But to who, right, Robert? To who would you? I mean, what do you? Go ahead and as I'm looking at, because I actually don't know what his salary is for last year. What do you think? Just forget about salary for a second. Pure from quality. I mean, we know his quality, right?
I don't know. The midfield is a little not stacked, but kind of like crowded. However, if you were to bring in a Gaston Brugman and that would give you the ability to kind of deal away someone like Isaiah Parente, I'd go for it. You'd have the experience. You're not using him as a starter. You're using him as a depth piece. He has that leadership in the locker room. Brugman's burgers, exactly, GCam. I mean, but everything's dictated by money, right? So, like, depending on what he's making, then we can go ahead and be like, okay, well, he costs as much as a blah blah blah, and then we can say, yeah, he's worth it, or no. I mean, on that money, that's just ridiculous. Well, how does the song go? I can't go for that. No.
Well, let's bring up Joe 13 Cool's comment, which is, to put some context around this, he can't cost more than Fagundes did this year, and even then, it's still worth it. So, to be specific, his base salary, Rob, 1.2 million, guaranteed compensation of about 1.4. So, I think for that money, I would not give.
Yeah, not on that money,
etc. He only started 14 games last year, only 1 assist, like barely any production. But if you bring him at 50% of that, now we could be talking, right? Like, because we know, for that money, you're probably aiming to start. I don't know. He's not going to start more than maybe half of the games for you. So that's the only thing. Like, you've got to really bring in on reduced wages.
But the Galaxy are playing a lot of football next year. I mean, they're going to be in the U.S. Open Cup. They're going to be playing in the Champions Cup. They're going to be playing in the league. I mean, and then they're going to have all that fixture congestion because of the World Cup, either side of it. So, you're gonna need players. So even if even if you have those players that again can give you those 15, 20 minutes at the end of a game that are dependable. Because again, I mean, I really, I mean, no shade, But I spoke to Zaire Parente in the media availability after this year. I asked him why he would want to stay with the Galaxy, knowing exactly, like I said, that the midfield is crowded, and why he wouldn't want to go to another team and test himself at another team. And he says, he wants to be here and win titles and stuff like that. But based on the play against Club América, man, I mean, like, he just can't be trusted in the midfield right now. Like, I didn't see a player with confidence.
Yeah, I mean, it was just that one. I think we're being overly harsh. Like I said, we have this thing called negativity bias, and we always tend to focus on the one bad thing. He did a couple of other really, really good things in that game, but it's just that one mistake is glorified. And so I think you've got to just take his whole body of work. I don't know. Watch that game back, Papa. Watch that game back.
Yeah, no, there was like 3 or 4 passes that were just out of place. I mean, even Joe Totino commented on
Yeah,
it. Yeah, that he looked like a young man who was playing or passing the ball without confidence. And I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, he just looks kind of cowed by maybe the opposition or the weather. I have no idea. But yeah, man, I mean, just I know that's not usually his game, but he's also made some other really big high profile mistakes, like against San Diego. But that's not recency bias. That's just evidence on body of work, like you said.
Yeah, but still, it's negativity bias. You're focusing on the negative parts. But the other thing too, I don't think he's a double pivot guy. I just don't think he has the physical tools. And I mean, he has the scanning ability, but he doesn't. I was talking to our friend Gunnar in the press box. I said on that play, he just didn't scan well. Like midfielders, especially in that position, if you're gonna play double pivot, you got to scan left and right and scan left and right again.
He was so slow
before you get it. And also, like, even if you get caught in pressure, now this is like more technical stuff now, but like when you're under pressure, you may lose the ball, but some guys, like, they have the physical ability a la Edwin Cerrillo to use his body, get in front of the defender and shield it and not lose that play. But even Edwin Cerrillo, Papa, makes those mistakes as well. I've seen him make a couple of those mistakes. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think these mistakes are sort of over glorified. But going back to Gaston for a second, I think the real question is, do you bring a guy like him, maybe not him particularly, but do you bring his type of experience profile in to usher along the young guys? Remember, you've got Elijah Winder, Lucas Sanabria, Isaiah Parente. There's a lot of guys in that midfield that are trying to break through and be mainstays for the LA Galaxy for years to come. I really don't like the argument of like stunting growth, because if you're good enough, you're going to play. So it's really just about like ushering those players in and making sure that they have the right stability. And look, the reality is the midfield we had yesterday is not going to be the midfield we're going to start with next year.
Yeah,
Let's be real about that. So yeah, Gaston, going back, let's kind of close the books on this one. I think Gaston, for me, I think it's the money thing. Like, I think that's just way too much.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. On that money, it can't happen. You can't bring him in on that money just to be kind of like a mentor guy or like a 15-minute guy. Like, if you're talking about, you're right. Like, if you're talking about like maybe half wages, like $650,
and that's even a maybe, because he's still pretty injury prone. I mean, he's on the wrong side of 30 something. So,
well, he wasn't really playing that much even in 2024. I mean, he was MLS Cup MVP.
Yeah,
he got the surprise start. But that season, I mean, he was supplanted by Edwin Cerrillo. But anyway, let's see where he winds up, if it's even in MLS. He might be on his way back home to Uruguay. But this is one that you and I,
not for you.
Hey, GCam, there we go.
Shout out GCam.
So we've been talking about this one behind the scenes for a little bit, because this is another one that you have been kind of had like a little heart dart for. And so the colleague, El Parcero Nico Moreno, he reported that negotiations between the Seattle Sounders and Paul Rothrock are ongoing, but the sides remain far apart on an agreement. Rothrock is likely to explore MLS free agency. So Paul Rothrock, who is one of Ananda's current favorite MLS free or potential free agents,
I swap a Messi jersey for it.
Yeah, I definitely would as well.
Brilliant marketing, by the way.
Um,
Brilliant marketing.
Yeah, no, it's great. And so they really like him up there. They really love him actually. And so the 26-year-old this year, let's look at his. Ananda was talking about bodies of work earlier, so let's look at the young man's body of work. 11 goal involvements in 36 games in 2025. Ananda, we were talking about it behind the scenes. First off, there's a lot of layers to this and what we were talking about. First off, we were talking about like if you were to bring him in, like where would you bring him in for, like as a striker or just like another option for the wings or what? Um, I don't know. What do you think? Should the Galaxy give it a fly, take a flyer on trying to sign him? Do you think they have the space? Do you think it's even likely?
Well, I don't think it's realistically likely, but I would like to Galaxy for at least to take a look at him and in this capacity, which is I don't think he should be your option A. I think he should be like a potentially an option B or maybe even no, I don't even think he's a C. I think he's a really talented player, man. And like he is severely underpaid. Let's get this out of the way. His base salary is 104,000. Like
Ooh,
he is severely underpaid. So
yeah, pay that
even
man.
even if you could get him at like, let's say he gets a pay bump to like 400-500K for a guy that can play basically all three front positions and potentially even emergency backup in the midfield. That he's mostly played left wing this season, Rob. Left wing, left mid, I don't depending on how Schmetzer sets up. Again, he's not going to be your main number 9, which is that's probably the one thing that is telling me like, okay, like you should focus on getting a true number 9, but he's such a versatile attacker. And the thing about Rothrock is, and we talked about this with Mo Cuevas, Rob, post match, which is, someone asked Mo about like having the versatility, like how comfortable are you playing right back, playing left wing? And Mo's answer was great. He was just like, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm a soccer player, and my skill sets and what I'm good at and what my strengths are. Like you can put me in any position on the field, and I'm gonna do a job for you. And I love that confidence, and I feel the same with Rothrock. Like bags and bags of energy, lots of speed, really really good deep channel runner coming from deep. And like I've seen so many plays between him and Masovsky this year where he's the runner off Masovsky or the other way around. I mean, look at those goals against the Galaxy, Rob. Rothrock just running through, clean on through, and decent finish, right? So I thought he had a really good season. Look, 11 goals out of 36 games. That's one every 3 for a guy that's getting paid 104,000. Honestly, that's not bad. And sometimes he was playing in the midfield, right? But no, I think he's taken a big leap this year. The only thing is realistically, I don't know. Like, I'm sure, like, he seems like a Seattle guy to me, but those are my arguments for him. Like I said, I wouldn't say he's your main number 9, but for that money, dude, you're not going to find a lot more talented players with high upside, in my opinion.
Yeah, even if quintuple his wages at 500K, you're still getting a fantastic deal on this player. Yeah, I don't see this one being very likely. I mean, I would definitely take him at the Galaxy. Greg's has been very kind of clear, like what he wants is a striker. Rothrock is not a natural number 9. He could probably play the 9. However,
Yeah.
Greg is kind of specific about what he wants, and he's told us what he wants is an out and out 9, just hungry. Just I want goals, number 9. So anyway, I mean, but yeah, I mean, if the Galaxy somehow could make it work, that would be fantastic.
To be fair, the right conversation is probably like him pitted against Gino Vivi. That's probably the right conversation to have because they're similar types of players. I mean,
Yeah, I would take Rothrock over
positionally. I 100% agree. 100% agree. I haven't seen enough of DV. He actually looked pretty decent in his cameo. Actually asked Greg about that, his reintegration back in the team, but right now he's still pending his green card, and Lord knows how that's going to go. So yeah, Rothrock against Vivi, I think is probably the right conversation to have.
Well, that's probably one of those FIFA type things that you only see on FIFA, Rothrock on the Galaxy, but who knows? We'll keep our ears to the ground on what happens and develops with his contract situation with Seattle. One that probably isn't likely either, Ananda, but I find interesting enough to kind of bring up tonight. It is from a reputable enough source that I'm also bringing it up. So apparently, one of the men that were the on the opposite side of the galaxy the other day, could be getting looked at by Los Angeles. According to Ekram Connor, Alex Zendejas is being monitored by 3 MLS teams: LA, Atlanta, and Portland. Of course, Zendejas is U.S. men's national team international. He's 27, 5 goals and 3 assists in 14 matches for America. He is one of the more dependable to be in that starting 11 for Club América. So it's kind of interesting to me anyway that this rumor is there, especially with the fact that the Galaxy have 2 DP wingers. So Ananda, do the Galaxy actually need Alex Zendejas? Can they afford him? Do they even? I mean, for if they could get him, what would it be for? Like competition for the wings or what?
Yeah, probably no and no and no again to all your questions. I mean, I don't think it's realistic because again, you're gonna have to shed one of your DPs. And we were even having the conversation about shedding one of the DPs for a DP striker, right? But so now this is the conversation of shedding a DP winger for another DP winger. It just seems like a sideways move to me. Unless you are trying to, again, but we're not in this position, but let's just hypothetically say that we were in a position to sell Gabriel Peck for big money, then this conversation makes a little bit more sense, this transaction. But like right now, I think this is probably, did you say when his contract was up? Was it next year? I don't know when his contract
I did
is
not
up,
say.
but like, I don't think this is going to happen realistically, but really talented player. I mean, I saw, firsthand on Saturday, just really light on his feet. We've seen him with the national team as well. He's a left-footed player, which brings in another interesting dimension. He usually plays off of that right half space. He's a really interesting one, man. I think, let's say he were for like a midfield position, let's say an attacking 8. I'm not sure about the balance between him and Ricky. They're very similar in stature. I think you're going to need a little bit more balance in the midfield in terms of profile, physicality, etc. That's why guys like Mark Delgado and Edwin Seria worked really well with Ricky Puig. And then if you replace one of the wingers, like I said, I think at this point you're probably banking a little bit more on Gabriel Peck's potential at his age versus Zendejas. But that's not to say I feel like Zendejas is a better player right now than Gabriel Peck in his at their stage of the development, right? Like maybe I would have said something different post 2024, but after this last season, I think Zendejas has had a better body of work, like I said, highlighted by his inclusion in the national team. Like he's been playing really, really well for his club.
What is Zendejas mostly is we saw him a lot on the right wing, right? Against the Galaxy.
He's a left footer. He likes to play on the right half space. And I'm looking at Fatma right now. He's primarily a right winger.
Huh. Interesting. So yeah, that would be if you're going like for like, that would be him for Gabriel Peck then. Who knows if the Galaxy would want to do that,
Well, this is the other thing too. I think they probably meant the other LA team because they have an open DP spot.
Yeah, I mean, potentially that we've seen that happen. Anyway, if anything develops on that, we will let you know. This is also a good time to remind you and let you know to subscribe to this podcast. We would love you forever. Ananda will take a shot for you. I mean, man, we would, like I said, just be super, super happy. Love you forever. Bake you some cookies even. Who knows? But subscribe to this podcast. 1/3 of y'all do not, but still listen. So you're already here, just go ahead and hit that boop, hit that boop go ahead and get booped, and then you'll have a lot more fun in life. So, Ananda, let's get to game time. All right, this one, the not so secret elephant in the room was that Galaxy fans really did not care about this game. And this one was going to be pretty much Club América having a home game and just be a bunch of Club América fans. From what I saw in the telecast, it was about 90% America fans. What was it like for you being there on the ground? I even saw that they were selling merch, America merch.
Yeah, like 80-20, 90-10. They were selling America merch. It was a sea of yellow and blue. Barely any blue, white, and gold for sure. So yeah, I mean it felt like a road game, man. This is one of the things we're gonna talk about later. But again, really interesting atmosphere too because of the rain. Like I wasn't sure how many fans would actually show up, but man, they were all out there in their ponchos. I have a couple pictures or images that I'll show later, but they showed out, man. And I think someone posted that we reposted on our account. Unfortunately on the V-Block side, just pretty bare. So it was all the Club América fans were all on one side. So
look, I know this is an exhibition. I know it doesn't count for anything. I know it was raining, but I really am worried about what it's going to look like in V-Block next year, man. I really am worried.
I am too.
Maybe we'll do a Laguna After Dark one of these nights and have that be the specific topic. But anyway, let's start where we normally start with the starting lineups. Ananda, was there anything in the starting lineups that surprised you for the Galaxy?
I don't know if I was surprised based off of the injuries, the absences, people on international duty. Joseph Paintsel was ill apparently, so I wasn't surprised, and I was pleasantly, I guess, surprised by the inclusion of the youngsters. I really thought that we talked about this last time with Will MLS Moves, that we thought Greg was going to give their youngsters a run out, and there was 5 substitution windows, Rob, and he used all 5 of them. Unfortunately, he used the last one like 2 minutes right before the game got called off. But it was nice to see Winder, Sanabria, Parente as that midfield. And Mo Cuevas was on the this graphic's a little weird because Mo Cuevas is actually on the left wing. Winder was that right midfield. Ramirez in the middle with Peck to the right. But they definitely alternated positions. They were pretty fluid in those attacking movements. That's one of the I talked about the word positive at the top of the show. One of the positive things I saw was the interchange and the fluidity of the attack, breaking out of our own zone or breaking out in pressure and just hitting the right ball that would split through the defense. That's how we got through for that first goal. So yeah, no surprises. I was happy to see the young kids, especially that young midfield, play together.
Yeah, I was kind of remembering that we were talking about this last show, what Greg was going to go with, whether he was going to go with, a bunch of the kids or whether he was going to go with the vets. And it looks like based on this lineup, he went with mostly an established 11, right? I mean, the only one that wasn't regularly starting was probably Parente and Sanabria, but everyone else was, or Ramirez, actually, those 3. But other than that, everyone else is getting regular starts, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, but Ramirez, I mean, he was the only recognized striker, so that's why he had to play the whole game. He didn't have a sub, unfortunately, and yeah, and like I said, everyone else, John Nelson was in street clothes, Edwin Cerilla was in street clothes. I don't know if they were injured or not. I didn't get a report on them, or we didn't get that information post match at all. But they were in street clothes, so they did not dress for this game. So yeah, and that's why you saw the call ups as well for the young guys.
Well, you mentioned Christian Ramirez being the only striker. Let's use him as a player spotlight. Ananda, what did you see in this man who, when I asked you what should I be watching for in this, when I watched this game back, you said watch Christian Ramirez. He did get the first goal, and it was really nice to see him on the first goal get out ahead of America's defense and be in the spot that he needed to be in, and just pretty much be there for the tap in. So, yeah, tell us what you thought about Christian Ramirez.
Yeah, and I told you specifically watch the first half because I think everyone saw in the second half he started gassing out a little bit. He hasn't played it, consistently, Rob, especially through the end of the season. I asked him post match. One of the things I asked him was, "Hey, Christian, you play the whole." Well, it wasn't 90 minutes because the game got called off early due to lightning. You played basically the whole game. Like, how do you feel physically? I know you were going through some things during the season, and he says, "Yeah, I'm pretty exhausted right now. I'm pretty tired," but he was happy to get a run out. I thought his first half performance was really positive, man. Like one of the things that we talked about with Greg, right, was like getting into the right spots. Does he have the right mobility, etc.? But especially if you see on that first goal, like he is where he needs to be in that
Exactly.
poacher's
Yeah,
position.
he's right there
in position, and we didn't see him being in that right attacking position, in the correct attacking position, getting on the end of stuff a lot last year. It may have happened in the beginning of the season, maybe 1 or 2 games. Like I remember that peach of a ball from Zonka to Christian Ramirez, good first touch in Portland, right? I do remember that goal, but just getting into simple attacking positions, like this is the Christian Ramirez that I expected, that we saw in Columbus, right? Just getting on the end of stuff, throwing his body around and getting in those right positions. So that was really positive. Again, using that word again. And then I thought even in the buildup, man, like there was really nice little 1-2s that I hadn't seen a lot of that link up play last year. And this was more 1-2s to get us out of pressure. And then he would run to the spot, right? Which is, I think in that first goal, or even there was another chance where we got a corner off of it that happened as well. So just nice to see him maybe recapture a little bit of that Columbus form. Maybe last year he wanted to, or maybe last year was an anomaly and he wants to get past last year as quickly as possible. And that's positive for the Galaxy. Like when he scored, I tweeted, through our account, like what a welcome sight for Galaxy fans. Christian Ramirez hits the back of the net. So
yeah, I mean, strikers need to see the back of the net, and hopefully this spurs him on to something bigger and better for next year. For those of you guys who weren't at the match, did not watch the match, I even caught it at a replay. The Galaxy did draw 2-2. It was raining everywhere. As we spoke about, Club América struck first in the 12th minute. Davila capitalizes on Parente's defensive mistake to go ahead and beat the Galaxy for just a bad defensive mistake. 1-0. Galaxy responded quickly, however, with the goal we were just talking about. Christian Ramirez getting to the spot and then tying this one up. Davila strikes again in the 38th minute. I talked about it. This one was another series of mishaps with the Galaxy not being able to clear the set piece, the corner kicks to be exact, and Davila takes advantage of it and scores that 2-1. And then the 41st minute, Gabriel Peck scores the tying goal off the Cuevas cross. This is actually a wonderful picture. Shout out to Galaxy Comms for this one. And that's where it would end, Ananda. 2-2. Lots of subs for the Galaxy in the second half. You talked about it. The kids played Pepe Magana, Gabriel Arnold, and Tommy Musto. Galaxy played with 21 different players. And then, as we saw in the picture, a lot of rain, and that means the potential for lightning. And that's why the game was cut short in the 86th minute. And like I mentioned, ends 2-2. But Ananda, do you think this was a fair reflection of the match, 2-2?
Yeah, I think so. I think there was, some sloppy defending on both ends that opened up those scoring opportunities. And yeah, I think it was a fair result. I thought it was actually really entertaining. I was really surprised. I was actually pretty entertained in the game. There was a lot of back and forth. There was, some moments of spells of possession on both ends. By the way, there was I had no idea that Alan Saint Maximin, like former Newcastle winger,
Yeah, isn't that wild?
was on Club America, and I was
That's
like,
wild, right?
who? I was like, I even told Gunnar, like, I was like, is that who I think it is? And I was like, Saint Maximin. He's like, dude, how did you recognize him? I'm like, well, he tried to do his first play of the game, Rob, tried to do 18 step overs against Yamane to beat him down the line. And I was like, oh, that's definitely Saint Maximin. So really, really interesting. I thought that was just an interesting battle. I mean, probably good for Liga MX's level. He's just he is a trickster merchant he's a no output merchant as well, though. Very similar to like Adama Traore, for example. Just one of those characters.
But he sure is fast, right?
He can beat a guy off a dribble, that's for sure. So yeah, super interesting. And by the way, this is also Papa. Just get a word in here. This is also the homecoming return of Jonathan Dos Santos. There he is with Don Raul. Yeah, he had a really, really nice embrace actually with Don Raul right before the game, just like a huge hug. Yeah, just a huge hug. So yeah, it was good to see him, and he's still pretty quality in that midfield, to be fair.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to watch him and see how he plays differently for Club América than he played for the Galaxy.
Totally different.
The Galaxy came back, like I mentioned in the game rundown, twice. Ananda, they showed a lot of heart to come back twice against a really good team. What does that tell you about these players?
Yeah, I think it was just positive to see the fight, right? The fact that they came back twice, even in an exhibition game. I mean, they responded pretty quickly. I have to look back again what the minute markers were, but it wasn't more than like 5 or 10 minutes. I mean, they responded to those Club América goals fairly quickly, and that's a Galaxy team that we didn't see much of in 25, Rob, right? Like that instant fight, like where was the instant response? Like that's the best time to score, when the other team just scored and like you score that goal right away and you're like, okay, we're up for the challenge. And we didn't see a lot of that in 25. So I think that's a good omen for 26, in my opinion.
Which of the young kids showed the best for you?
Well, let's start with the obvious, man. Let's start with Mocuevas. 2 assists, right? Again, he just shows his versatility again. I mean, this match he played left wing, he played right back. I mean, he was up and down that pitch. I even tweeted like, Mo's such a versatile player that he's got really, really good attacking instincts. Like, obviously he has a good delivery on him, but he's more than willing to track back and help out. And that work rate is something that the fans respond to. That work rate is a skill that I think, for me personally, separates like the good versus the great players, is that ability or that willingness to work and graft for the team. So we've got to start with him, man. Like he was phenomenal, right?
Yeah, no, he was really, really good. And you're right, just the versatility that he provides and the fact that he's not phased about it, and the fact that he's not like, oh, well, my best position is this. Like, nah, I'm going to do a job for you. We do have a super chat from the homie Adam. Thank you so much, Adam. He says, hey, guys, are the Hamas rumors to the Galaxy false?
I believe so. I think Tommy
most likely
completely refuted that today. He's like, Hamas to Toronto FC, no truth to that. Absolutely not. And yeah, no one needs James. I don't think he's Super One. I think only Colombia needs James, and that's about it.
Yeah, no, the James is the Galaxy is got to be false. I mean, they just don't have the room for him. I mean, just financially, this where how I mean.
Well, yeah, if you can't even afford Brugman and Zendejas, you're not going to afford.
Well, that's the thing though, is that like that's not necessarily true. And this is something that I feel like we got to bring up. It's kind of an audible here, but you were at the game, so you didn't see the stream, right? And at halftime, Joe featured Will Kuntz as his guest for the halftime show, and Will said that they were probably bringing in a good amount of good quality players. Like they have the room and they have the resources to bring in a good amount of good quality players. I think our colleague, the Podfather, has a tweet that he's where that he has a tweet where Greg Vanny's talking about them being able to bring in like 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe players to go ahead and add to this roster. So it is conceivable that you could be seeing from 3 to 6 new players on this team, and then plus the good base that you already have, and then plus Ricky Pooch who comes back. So I mean, the young players like Cuevas and Harbor Miller and Ruben Ramos and stuff like that, next year they will have the chance to develop and contribute to the team in a natural way rather than all this pressure being placed on them. And that goes more for like Harbor Miller and Ruben Ramos than Cuevas. I feel like he's kind of there, being able to contribute to the team like on an everyday level.
Yeah. But like I said, I think I'm still stuck on that like 4, 5, 6 players. Like I don't know where you're gonna get the room for that. We're definitely not bringing DP level quality players. That's for sure. The other, I would say, roster like mechanism thing that's really interesting about these young guys is the homegrown thing. Papa, the homegrown thing is huge, right? There's some cap relief for that as well. So again, you go back to conversations like, is Yamane expendable now? Because now you've got 2 homegrown sitting in that position that are more than willing to fill in, right? So, okay, like if you let go of a guy like Yamane and shed that salary, okay, now I can see like where the 4, 5, 6 players comes in. But until that happens, like I'm not seeing it. And again, I'm not a salary cap wizard, so we'll have to see. The proof is in the pudding. We'll just have to see how things go. But yeah, I think
here's the tweet. Here's a tweet. Corner of the Galaxy says, very impressed with the Galaxy's play against America. 2 teams that were definitely rotating, but the Galaxy's pace of attack and technical finishes were pretty strong. If that's a baseline, 4 or 5, and then he puts in quotes, 4, 5, 6 guys coming, end quotes, as voiced by Vanny. I don't hate where they are at. So
yeah, I don't know what that's. I am skeptical about that. So let's see.
Yeah, but they know more than we do, right? So it's like, they got to know that, and they got to know that
the math isn't mathing for me.
Well,
so,
maybe they lose 1 or 2 players and they bring in, the 4 or 5 guys that they're.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe it's like they are already like seeing like certain decisions may be made. Like maybe there's no progress on negotiations with Diego Fagundes. Like maybe that like there's things that we don't know. So
Yeah, absolutely. But that's exciting though, right? Because they do have the good basis of a team, especially with Ricky Pooch coming back, and they have these players like Winder, coming on in the later half of the season and playing a lot better. You got players like Ricky Pooch around him who is going to make him better. I'm excited about where they're at too, especially if they end up not losing so many players. So, and then Joe 13 Cool says, "Oh, Vanny said that maybe he's trying to push Kuntz to make more moves." No, Joe 13 Cool. I mean, Kuntz said it as well on the telecast with Joe on the stream. He said that he didn't put a number on it, but he did say that they're going to bring in a good amount of good quality players. So good amount doesn't mean
at least a striker and a center back for sure.
Yeah, good amount doesn't mean 2. Good amount doesn't mean 3. Good amount means like 4 at the very least, right? Like
we don't know.
I mean, if you don't say, "Hey, I'm giving you a good amount," and then you show up 3 donuts, homie, like that's not a good amount. Like, or I'm giving you a good amount of money, you show up $3, man. Like that's not a good amount.
For me, it's not quantity. For me, it's quality and positions of need.
Sure.
That's how I'm gonna grade this transfer window. Quality and positions of need.
So you need
striker,
a good striker,
center back.
You get. I mean, in a perfect world, you have 2. You add 2 good quality center backs. You add, another striker. I mean, yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and strengthen the team as much as you can. We have another super chat from the homie Adam says there are free agents on the market like Zimmerman, Joseph Martinez, Espinosa, but unfortunately, Galaxy doesn't have enough money to pay any of them. I think you can kind of work out a deal with Joseph Martinez for striker. I think he's within striking distance. Espinosa probably not. Zimmerman probably a little bit.
Yeah, he's max TAM too.
Yeah, probably a little bit like within the realm of possibility, but this is very difficult. But yeah, I mean, I would take Zimmerman or Joseph or Espinosa, even though he's ex Earthquake. But anyway, Ananda, you talked about it. This one was a very much a road game, man. So we can't really put any stock even into this one because this one A was an exhibition and B this is if this really was a competitive match, I don't know that it would be so skewed 90-10 America. I think there would be a lot more representation. But Ananda, was there a moment of the match for you in this one?
The lightning strike at 87th minute. That was my moment of the match. We're like, what's going on? Why is everyone leaving? Why is security telling everyone to leave?
She's like, why is everyone bouncing?
Yeah, that was my moment of the match.
All right. Well, who do you got for defending the badge?
Let's see. Who are candidates, Rob? Well, Cuevas had a nice game. Ramirez. Peck had a decent game. I mean, he had the goal. I got to give it to Cuevas though, because he was a standout player. He was the guy that, like I said, his stock, like how we used to do like stock up, stock down. Like
I'm not gonna hit on that.
His stock went up in this game. So and the one thing too, thinking about defending the badge, I don't know if you saw this, Rob. I think the Galaxy posted it maybe a couple hours ago on their social media account, but there's a video of Mo leading the locker room talk post-match and basically him saying that, this is who the Galaxy is. Like, we deserve to be on top. Like, this is the type of stuff that we need to build on and momentum for next year.
I like it.
With a few expletives in there. That put me over the edge, man. Like, it's funny because, we have this running joke, right, amongst the media members that, like, Mo is the most soft-spoken, like, when he talks in interviews.
Oh,
like,
yeah, man.
He's like the most soft-spoken cat, right? Like, he's like, yeah.
What?
Mo, we love you, bro. But I don't know if my mic picked up what you just said, Baba. But
yeah, there's no decibels there.
But in that locker room speech, like he was really, he was really leading that, and I was surprised actually. I was really surprised. So, man, Mo Cuevas for me, trying the badge.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to hate on that. I mean, the guy is when he's on, right? I mean, there's still a little bit more defensive work to do on the development side there, or rather, there's a little bit more defensive work to do for the development, but like you just that'll come, right? I mean, he's got to play, right, to go ahead and be able to develop those skills. So
yeah, he knows it. He knows it too. I asked my question to him post match was what's like the one thing you're really working on this off season that you're adding to your game, and he's like, it's the defensive side, man. It's tactically, like, how can I be more aware, both offensively, but he has a knack for it already, so I'm not too worried about that. But he talked about defensively, and we've seen it. Like we even talked about it with Dan Couchman, right? One of those games where he was the coach. He just needs to work. He sometimes turns his head and lets defenders go past him. So that's an area improvement for him. He knows it. I have full confidence that he's going to be working on that in the offseason.
He might be the Galaxy breakout player of the year next year, man. Who knows?
I agree. That's my early pick. That's my early pick for sure.
Yeah, let's bank it right here. Let's call it right now. So the homie Adam with another super chat. Thank you so much, Adam. Have we said you're a real one, man? Thank you. Zimmerman played for the team across town, but I can get used to seeing him in a Galaxy uniform if he has to sign him. Surprisingly, I wouldn't hate it either. Again, all based on if the money is right. It's really just based on that, on the economics. I mean, if you can get a player like Walker Zimmerman for what you're paying, a combination of who, like what was Zavaleta making last year, and on to like 2 and then Zonka's making 6, and you buy Zonka out, and you're paying Walker Zimmerman like 8. Why not, right?
Yep.
Why not? Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, it's super interesting, man. What's just trying to think about the next big milestone. I guess well, the Galaxy already announced their extensions. So the 26th, I think, of November, right, is the extensions for the whole league wide. And then I guess the big milestone is December 9th, 7th, 9th. What do I keep getting that confused? CCC draw?
That'll be the 9th.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's the other big milestone right there is the CCC draw on the 9th. Then we'll know whether the Galaxy are playing as soon as February 3rd, or they're playing the CVI and playing the Champions Cup in the next window on the 17th, 18th, or 19th. We're pretty much unanimous on Mauricio Cuevas being the player of this match, defending the badge candidate. Ananda, we will be back with the Peoples on Monday the 24th when we pick up our Galaxy grades again for the season. This time it's the defenders, man. We actually have a super chat from Adam, in which I'm really glad you asked, because this is very convenient that you bring it up right now. He says, "Hey guys, is this the last show for 2025 for the podcast? If it is, thank you all for an excellent season once again." Adam, you are in luck, because it is not the last pod of the season. The last pod of the season will actually be most likely December 15th. You have a couple more weeks with us. We do have to get through our season grades for midfielders, forwards, and then, of course, coaches in front office. So you have us for at least...
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, you have us for at least 3 more podcasts, and I believe we'll go ahead and come back at you as well for a reaction to the Champions Cup draw. So you have us for a couple more shows here in 2025 before we go dark, and then we come back at you in the new year. But we do appreciate you touching base on that, because Anand and I were actually looking at the calendar and what that might hold for the rest of the year. But yes, I'm really looking forward to doing the grades for the coaches in the front office, and on that one might be the one that finally gets my credentials pulled, but who knows. Anyway, we'll be back with you guys on the 24th, like I said, next Monday. Grades for the defenders, and then on the 1st of December we'll be back with you when the midfield gets their grades as well. Ananda, anything else to add?
No. It was, like I said, it was a really interesting game, and it was just nice to see, man. Like I said, it's always a pleasure watching, your team live and against a pretty darn good team. So just want to say thank you to everyone in chat, and we will see you guys next week for the defender grades.
Hey, one last thing. I'm like a sucker for the cheese man. Did you see anything having to do with the fights or anything like that? I saw.
Oh yeah, I
in the American Express Lounge.
I completely missed that, because I was watching with Scott right behind Josh as well, and I actually walked down, where we walked down through the tunnel. I actually walked down through there, so I didn't see anything. Wow. I just saw a lot of commotion. I probably had just missed it. And then with the lightning and everything, it was weird. A minute after I walked through the tunnel, they closed the gates on everyone, which was weird. Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't see that cheese man, so I cannot report on it. I'm sure there's enough investigative reporting out there about the fight if you want to know about the fight. But
yeah,
I didn't hear about it.
I just saw a video, and I think that's good enough for me. I mean, I was just like, it's just a friendly, y'all. Yeah, exactly. What's going on here?
Things got sure to get friendly and chummy.
Yeah, you can say that in. But anyway, guys, wait a second. We have a super chat here from the homie Adam. He says, "Did you guys see the Galaxy selling Club América merchandise in the team store? And any thoughts? Thank you." Yeah, I don't dig it at all. That's it's a bad look. It's horrendous. It's demoralizing. I mean, it's just basically like goes to it leads credence to what we had been talking about, what the criticism was about this game, how it was a money grab. This is where you see it. I mean, you aren't going to see this anywhere else. I mean, this is anyway. No,
and on top of that, like I knew it was different from when I walked in because obviously there was a different agency running this like all of the media and stuff for like media relations. Rob, it was completely different. And I knew it right away as soon as I got my credentials. I was like, it was a different person. So I knew it was going to be different. And then I saw the merch. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So anyways, yeah. And then we've got another super chat here from our buddy
XPH,
the wonderful, our new investigative reporter, XPH. Make it 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. See you guys next time. Thank you, Papa, so much for reaching that goal, the super chat goal of 5. So,
hey, thank you so much, XPH. Comments, Primo. G's up indeed. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think that's about it from us. We do love y'all. We will miss y'all until we see you again. And I think there's just one thing left to say, right?
Dale.
Jesus.